Hello and welcome back to Crosshatch Puzzles. We're here for another New York Times Daily Crossword Solve. Today is Thursday, May 28th, 2026, and today's puzzle is by John Kugelman, who has become a little notorious for themed puzzles on both Thursdays and Sundays. It is a Thursday, so we're expecting some kind of tricky theme and some midweek, mid-difficulty fill. We can already see some stacks of longer entries in the bottom left, presumably replicated in each corner, which will add some challenge to this. And this is John Kugelman's 20th submission, or 20th accepted submission, I say, 20th publication of Crosswords to the New York Times. So congratulations to John on that. And I'm sure this will be a bit of a tough nut to crack, so let's dive right in and see what tricks John Kugelman has up his sleeve for today's puzzle, Thursday, May 28th. Let's go. Surname of two Indian prime ministers, I think going to be Gandhi, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. Fly-by-night types, I mean, do we want this literally to be bats? Fly-by-night is sort of a figurative expression for sneaky or undercover or, hard to surveil. But I think we want this literally here. Let's find out anyway. Go for, to opt for maybe? Drew Carey, Halle Berry, or Guy Fieri. Originally. All three of those originally the same kind of something? I'm not sure what. Interesting. Baroque instrument. I want something like a viol, and it might be if Bats is wrong, but it probably isn't if Bats is right. So I'm going to check some downs and see. Machiavellian, in a way. Bit of a lark. I'm not sure about bats anymore. Might be owls? How would that work with viol? Machiavellian in a way. Sly? Bit of a lark. Oh, not figuratively a bit of a lark, but literally a part of a lark, a bird, is a wing. I think we're okay now. Throwing style. Over... wanted overhand. Of course, it's Thursday. It being Thursday, there might be some trickery about how we're entering things in as well. Cry of frustration. I want something like arg or arg like that or something. Birthplace of Dr. Pepper. Why would I know that? Not separated. Intact, maybe? Bit of a laugh. Could be something like ha or he or something. Totenberg of public radio, no idea. Excuse me. So in square brackets there we want not a word exactly, but some kind of vocalization or gesture or something like that. I think we want ahem there. Programming statement that can result in spaghetti code. I think we want go to. Because sort of recursive go-tos can really mess up your code. I think that's probably, yeah. Is this an Ohioan? Someone from Ohio? Might be. Whistling stick-up man on The Wire. Haven't seen The Wire. And so here, presumably the first theme entry, walking around money for Pavarotti. Walking around money. Interesting. Have I looked at this? Lady killer. Lothario, maybe? Just, a sort of a Casanova, a womanizer. I think that's what we want there. Sly looks okay here. 20? Maybe? Walking around money at 20? Birthplace of Dr. Pepper, Waco, Texas. I really am. Oh, maybe because this Hajj destination is Mecca. The Hajj is the pilgrimage to the holy place in Islam. So maybe Waco, Texas. And that was a wild guess, but People who get walked all over. I mean, this could be in the standard figurative sense, people who are sort of pushovers or something like that. But it could be, we could be meaning to take this more literally as well. I'm not sure. Overarm, okay, I wanted overhand, but overarm works as well. Throwing style, that's fine. Kind of a drag, question mark. The main drag is a kind of a drag in the sense of a street. Chew, for many a putt-putt hole, that might be the par, the expected number of strokes in which you're expected to get the ball in the hole. 2 strokes for mini putt. Baseball team, formerly known as the Colt 45s. I don't know. Answer to, why is your report card in the trash? Interesting. Long-handled gardening tool or immoral pleasure seeker per contestant Ken Jennings on Jeopardy incorrectly. A hoe. Oil, they say. What is said about oil? Don't know. Written with venom. Poison something? Written with venom. Maybe not. Maybe we don't mean literal venom, but maybe we would mean like invective or something. It could be what is it? Polemic or something? No. What is it? Veto, to veto, or a veto. To deny, to... McGuire's rival in 1990s MLB. Mark McGuire's rival was Sammy Sosa, I think. Fremont and Folsom in San Francisco. I assume SF, San Francisco, 4-2. Streets, Fremont Street, Folsom Street, that looks okay. Does this help me with any of this? Not yet. Preacher's gift. Rector present? Certainly present looks okay for gift. I really want rector here because that a rectory is this sort of Mexico's Tabasco, Jalisco, and others. Aren't these provinces? But maybe there's a different name for them. And Mexico, actually, with the accent there, I feel like the answer might be in Spanish. So it might be states that we're looking for. And I don't know exactly what the Spanish word for state is. Maybe it starts with EST. But then this is not past or present. Oh, past or present. Is this 10 or 20? So this is 10 or 20, but it's tenor. Tenor, Pavarotti is a famous tenor. A tenor 20, walking around money for Pavarotti. A 20 for a tenor. Okay. People who get walked all over are figuratively then doormats. This looks like Omar, and this looks like Nina Totenberg. Omar, the whistling stick-up man, fine. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. And here, past or present. So past or present is a standard phrase involving the word or, but if we connect the or to the word before it to turn it into past or present, then it would be a preacher's gift. Fly catcher, and in this case, another baseball clue. I think we want what you could use to catch a pop fly is your mitt, your baseball glove. It's a zoo out there. Out where? Don't know. National drink of Puerto Rico. Some kind of a pisco or something? Perceptive. The word sensual fits, but that's not what sensual means. Perceptive. Resident of Rivendell in Tolkien. The elves live in Rivendell, so one resident is an elf. Muscle exercised with a shoulder press familiarly. A delt, maybe? Estadas? Something like that for states. Perceptive. Still don't see that. Icy passage to Antarctica's McMurdo Station. Guardians of Bushido tradition. Do we want senseis? Is this the Astros? Baseball team formerly known as the Colt 45s in Houston? The Astros? That could be. Then what's this? Oil, they say. Huh. Why is your report card in the trash? Oh, no reason. Could be. Veto. To nay, maybe? Or, oh, to nix. Then oil, they say. Texas something. This was poison after all. To parrot is to ape, to mimic, to imitate. Texas tea? Poison pen? Billionaire Musk is Elon Musk. This does look like senseis. Ross something, the Ross Strait? The Ross Sea. Texas tea, okay, fine. Dark and sultry, like a femme fatale's gaze. What word is this? Dark and sultry. Dissect with a diagram. Dissect with a diagram. Comes on little cat feet, maybe tiptoes? Start of many first-year course names, presumably intro. Jimmy, a comedian Jimmy. A lot of Jimmys, none that fit in this. Where to look if you're looking for LUV, i.e. Southwest Airlines. Looking for love is, I guess, the pun there, but I don't know where LUV is. Third in order, tertiary, maybe. Changes the locks. And locks is often a pun for hair. So if you're changing your hair, you might be dyeing it. So changes, present progressive, dyes, I think is what we want. Dyes one's hair, changes one's locks. To bum around Europe or a bum around Europe. I think we want arse there is a way of saying bum in your bum in a sort of British English. And maybe elsewhere in Europe. Spies versus Spy magazine. That comic was in Mad Magazine way back in the day. Nose? Why would this be nose? Where to look if you're looking for love, i.e. Southwest Airlines. Nose. Why? Local leader is prohibited. So may or may not. May or may not. May or may not. I think that's correct there. Oh, NYSELUV. Okay, on Southwest Airlines on the New York Stock Exchange is coded as LUV. Okay, fine. Is this Jimmy Carr? Why don't I see that? Oh, opposite of 39 down. So if you're coming on little cat feet, you're tiptoeing. The opposite of tiptoeing might be stomps. Tiptoes, stomps. That could be. Okay. Who said, I'm so mean, I make medicine sick? I don't know. Intentional creases, probably pleats. Elf? Acted all crabby. Not sure. Fuss budgety, say. Anal, probably, is what we want there, sort of type A kind of thing. Mindless repetition could be rote, as in rote learning. Lawman who got out of Dodge. Why Dodge capital? I mean, it should be even in the figurative sense, because no, it shouldn't, because Dodge is a sort of a figurative place. It's not a real place. Anyway, lawman who got out of Dodge. I'm not sure what we're looking for here. Affliction for many first responders in brief, post-traumatic stress disorder. Acted on all crabby. Oh, sidled. So here we're looking for the motion that crabs make, which is this sort of sideways walking here called sidling. So if you acted all crab, you act like a crab, you sidled. I think that's right. This looks like something, a lawman who got out of Dodge. Oh, Wyatt Earp. I don't know that story, so I'll have to look that up. What kind of eyed? Dark and sultry, like a femme fatale's gaze. Slow-eyed? I don't know what's going on there. 5 and 8 go into 42, for example. This is another theme entry for sure, and so presumably this is estados for states. So, but what is this? O looks okay there. Fact or fiction. So maybe not stops. So factor, fiction. 5 and 8 don't go into 42. In fact, they go into 40. So this is a fiction, a lie about factors. 5 and 8 go into 42 as a factor fiction. So maybe this is tropes or something like that. Oh, to dissect with a diagram, what? To parse? So that would make this Jimmy Carr, and that makes this slow-eyed like this. I don't know the origin of this. I've heard the phrase, but I don't know what slow in this case is. So I'll have to look that up. Till death do us part, the quote there, the phrase. Fan of I statements. An egoist might be a fan of statements involving themselves. A blue stop sign, question mark. Blue stop? Is blue stop a thing? I don't know. Blank actually, well, actually, someone might say if they're trying to mansplain something or something like that. 60 minuti. I don't know how to say 60 in Italian, but that's what we're looking for here. 60 minutes makes an hour, an ora. Clear. Don't know. Safe word? Okay. Blue meaning sort of risque or in a sort of a sexual situation. A stop sign in a blue context is a safe word. That's fine. Clear. To rid, to clear, is that what we want? Organization targeting Walter White on Breaking Bad, the Drug Enforcement Agency, I guess. It's a zoo out there. Oh, a menagerie. Fair enough. Collection of animals. Oh, pina colada. Right. Okay. And rid is correct then. After all, perceptive is sensate, not sensual, but sensate. And this is get an A. To shine scholastically is to get an A. Okay. Right, so let's take a look at the theme. No revealer today, but we have 4 theme entries symmetrically distributed across the grid. And the first one here is walking around money for Pavarotti. Walking around money, just like sort of like, you know, cash on hand, which might be a $20 bill. And so the John Kugelman, the constructor, has taken the phrase 10 or 20, just a common phrase, 10 or 20, and imagine what would happen if you affixed the OR to the first word in that phrase. And that would give you tenor 20. In other words, a 20 for a tenor, some loose cash, some spare change for a tenor, in this case, Pavarotti. So this would be walking around money, a 20 for Pavarotti, a tenor. Here, we've taken the phrase pastor present and affixed the OR to the first word to give us pastor present, which is another way that you might describe a preacher's gift, a present of or for a pastor. This phrase, fact or fiction, we've turned it into factor, fiction, or a lie about factors. And in this case, the clue 5 and 8 go into 42 is an example of a fiction that you might say about factors. 5 and 8 do not, in fact, go into 42. Local leader is prohibited, so we've taken the phrase may or may not and turned it into mayor may not. If a mayor may not do something, that local leader is prohibited from doing such thing. So that is our Thursday theme, a very fun theme, a really clever idea, and I'm impressed that I'm sure that John had other candidate theme entries, and I'm excited to read about those in the wordplay column. But these are a great collection of 4 that requiring some great creativity in the cluing as well. What else? A lot of great wordplay in here, and I wonder how much of this cluing is from John himself and as opposed to from the editors. Fly-by-night types were meant to think more literally than just someone hard to spot. Literally flying by night are owls. I'm glad that I came up with vile right away because it led me away from bats, which is what I originally had at 7 across. This is a very funny thing from Ken Jennings, immoral pleasure seeker. Interesting spelling of arg. I usually do not see that spelled with 2 A's, but I guess it worked for the grid that we had here. I had forgotten that the Astros were formerly known as the Colt 45s. I think I did know this. Obviously, we don't want baseball teams named after firearms or indeed indigenous tropes and stereotypes, but still have some of those, unfortunately. Flycatcher is another fun baseball reference here. A implement for catching a pop fly, sack fly ball is a baseball mitt. Kind of a drag, again, meant to think, I mean, I guess kind of more literally, though drag is a sort of a colloquial or slang term for a street. But the main drag is sort of your main street, and so that's a kind of a drag in that sense, rather than kind of a downer. Parrot here, we want the verb to imitate. There was another one of those somewhere, I don't remember. Sensate is not a word that you hear much in conversation, but does appear from time to time in the grid. Dissect with a diagram. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think we're looking at, like, if you're parsing a sentence, you certainly don't need to do it with a diagram, but I suppose that is one visual way of doing that. You can certainly sort of sketch out where the parts of speech are, where the clauses are, and so on. I'll have to remind myself of the story of Wyatt Earp, and maybe this is in fact where the phrase "get out of Dodge" comes from. I don't know. I'll put that in the video description if I find out. Bum around Europe is fun. We want another word for the way that a bum might be said around Europe. Change the locks. Again, locks always, not always, often points to hair. And so in this case, we want dyes. Acted all crabby is a really fun clue for sidled. Again, sidled appears in the puzzle almost exclusively with reference to the way that crabs walk. Strangely enough, but that's fine. Bit of a laugh is funny, and we have bit of a lark as well, 2 sort of paired clues here. We're looking for literal pieces of these things, so a laugh could be given as har har, and so a bit of that might be just the first har. Here, a lark, not a bit of a lark as in an adventure or something like that, or something that you do for fun, but literally a bit of an actual lark. A lark is a bird, and a bit of a bird is a wing. This is a fun clue. Why'd you report a card in the trash? No reason. I mean, you could have asked a lot of questions and gotten that answer, but in this case, that's the one we want. I'm interested in this one, written with venom, which indicates a past tense here, past passive, but poison pen is not that, as far as I understand it. So I'm curious about this one and how we get the right part of speech matching this clue to this answer. If anybody knows, leave it in the comments. Texas tea, I guess, is a slangy way of saying oil. Sure. I did not know that Dr. Pepper came from Waco, Texas. That's pretty fun. I'm not sure what Bushido tradition is, but something to do with Japanese martial arts, presumably. Senseis I'm familiar with are teaching jiu-jitsu and other martial arts, but I'm not sure what Bushido is. Maybe it's another martial art. Sensei, just the word for teacher, I think. Blue stop sign is a really tricky clue here. I had to get the word from the crosses and then sort of reverse engineer the meaning here. But we want blue in the sense of illicit or sexual or sort of NSFW, as it were, and a stop sign that you might use in such a context is a safe word. I'll have to look up slow for slow-eyed there. I think I know who Jimmy Carr is. I have a mental image in my head, and that was the first guess that I had. I just wasn't positive. We have tiptoes and tromps, it ends up being, as the opposite of tiptoes here, so that's fine. And this was, I guess, Muhammad Ali that said, "I'm so mean, I make medicines sick," not Alf. Makes much more sense this way. So that's our puzzle for Thursday, May 28th. I hope you enjoyed the solve. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and let me know. And if you want to know when I'm posting my next one, hit that subscribe button. You'll get the notifications. And we'll see you next time on Crosshatch Puzzles. Cheers.